Hello, and a genuine focused welcome to you, my determined friend. Find a quiet corner. Take a deep, steadying breath and prepare to unlock your speaking voice. You're here because you know that true fluency isn't just about what you know, but about how you sound, about rhythm, tone, and confidence. Today, we are diving into a powerful 15-minute shadowing English conversation practice. This is the secret method athletes and actors use to master performance. We'll use a compelling story to give your practice meaning and purpose. I promise that by actively shadowing the dialogue in our narrative, you won't just learn new phrases. You will begin to rewire your brain to speak English naturally, without hesitation. As you listen, notice the bolded words and phrases, the vocabulary of ambition and communication, and how they connect in a fluid native flow. Remember this core truth: the voice you are afraid to use is the one the world is waiting to hear. Tell me, what part of the world are you practicing with me from right now, and what time is it there? Share your current moment in the comments below. Transition: in the next few minutes, you will gain more than just listening practice. You will actively engage in shadowing technique to improve your pronunciation and intonation. You will naturally absorb essential conversational vocabulary for navigating career challenges. And most importantly, you will receive a powerful life lesson about the necessity of aligning your inner truth with your outer voice. Storytelling begins. Our story takes us to the bustling, competitive world of a financial analysis firm in New York City. Our protagonist is a brilliant analyst named Lena. Lena was a genius with numbers. Her reports were flawless, meaning perfect without error. She dreamed of being promoted to a senior position where she could lead projects and present her findings directly to clients. However, Lena had a problem that ran deeper than vocabulary. She suffered from speaking anxiety. She knew the English words, but when it was time to speak, especially under pressure, her voice would come out muted, soft, and quiet, hesitant and lacking the intonation, the rise and fall of the voice that conveys confidence. In team meetings, Lena would often wait for the perfect moment to contribute. She would formulate a perfect, complex sentence in her mind. But before she could open her mouth, a colleague, Mark, who had much weaker analytical skills but a loud, assertive, confident, and forceful voice, would jump in and state a basic version of Lena's idea. Mark's English wasn't better. It was just bolder. He spoke with strong rhythm and conviction, even when he was wrong. Lena's meticulously correct, quiet sentences were constantly overlooked, giving Mark the credit and the visibility. She felt her career was hitting a ceiling because her inner brilliance was trapped behind a muted voice. One day, her manager, Miss Patel, called Lena into her office for a review. Miss Patel was kind but direct. "Lena, your work is impeccable. You are our rock. But when you speak, your voice doesn't match your intellect. We need you to speak with authority. You have to be able to articulate, to express clearly and fluently your insights with the same force as your data. Miss Patel continued, using a powerful metaphor. Think of your voice as a powerful engine. Right now, you're only giving it a tiny bit of gas. You need to press the pedal. Lena left the office feeling a deep sense of determination. She realized that the next step in her career wasn't about learning a new grammar rule. It was about training her mouth and her mind to work in synchronized harmony. She needed to learn the physicality of the English language, the rhythm, the pitch, the speed. She decided her new focus would be on shadowing, listening intently to fluent speakers, and immediately repeating their speech, matching every nuance of their sound. This was the only way to train her voice to press the pedal. Lena began her shadowing practice with intense discipline. She chose short, professional English conversations and listened to them repeatedly. Her goal wasn't just to repeat the words, but to mimic the pace and the intonation, the music of the language. She focused on two key areas where her voice was currently failing her. 1. Linking and reduction. She noticed that native speakers don't pronounce every word separately. They link words together and they reduce certain sounds, like going to becoming gonna. This velocity in speech had always been a barrier to her understanding. By shadowing, she was training her mouth to make these connections naturally. Emphasis and projection. She practiced projecting her voice and putting emphasis, special importance, or attention on the most important words in a sentence. When saying a crucial phrase like, "This is the primary factor," she practiced hitting the word primaries with a stronger, higher tone. This simple change transformed her delivery, the way in which someone speaks. She began her shadowing by focusing on these 5 key conversational phrases, which we can imagine her shadowing now. I'm afraid I disagree with that assessment. Practice using a slightly firm lower tone on afraid and disagrees. That's a valid point, but let's consider the long-term risk. Practice linking valid point and projecting long-term risk. I'll circle back to you with the data by end of day. Practice the natural reduction of I will to "all'd" and the phrase circle back this phrase 9, meaning to return to a topic or person later. To put it simply, the project is moving full steam ahead. Practice projecting full steam ahead. Praise 11, meaning moving forward with great energy and speed. Could you elaborate on the core findings? Practice the polite rising intonation on the question. Could you elaborate phrase 13, meaning to explain in more detail? Lena also realized that her biggest fear was the pause. When she stopped to think, the silence felt huge and inviting for others like Mark to interrupt. She learned to use filler phrases, small natural phrases that buy thinking time as part of her shadowing practice to maintain her speaking turn. That's an interesting question. Let me gather my thoughts on that. By shadowing these phrases, her pauses became strategic, a sign of contemplation. The real test came during the weekly team strategy session. Mark began to present, but quickly got lost in his own data. He paused. This was Lena's moment. She didn't wait. She leaned forward and, using the stronger projection she had trained, she used her new rhythm to jump in. Mark, I'm afraid I disagree with that assessment. Let me gather my thoughts on that. 15. The core finding is that we need to optimize the supply chain. To put it simply, 10. The project is moving full steam ahead. 11. On my new timeline. Her voice was clear, firm, and rhythmic. It held the room's attention. Mark was completely silenced. Miss Patel gave Lena a sharp, approving nod. Lena felt a powerful, unprecedented, never done or known before sense of control. She had found her voice, and with it her authority. Lena's commitment to 15 minutes of shadowing practice every day had completely transformed her presence. She wasn't just accurate, she was commanding. Her colleagues began to wait for her input, knowing her contributions would be concise, authoritative, and perfectly framed. The change was so evident, clear that within 2 months, Miss Patel formally offered Lena the promotion to senior strategy lead. The promotion interview itself became a simple formality, because Lena had already passed the real test, the test of communication confidence. She didn't need to fake confidence. She simply needed to train her instrument, her voice, to match her brilliant mind. She realized that shadowing works because it shifts the focus from the analytical part of the brain, grammar rules, to the motor skills part of the brain, pronunciation and rhythm. She learned that true verbal fluency is a physical skill, like playing a musical instrument, and it requires daily intentional practice. The muted voice of her past was gone, replaced by the clear, rhythmic voice of a leader. The motivational takeaway is this: your English will never be truly fluent until your voice is fully confident. If you are struggling with feeling hesitant or quiet, stop spending all your time on reading and grammar. Dedicate 15 minutes every single day to shadowing fluent speech. Mimic the rhythm, the pitch, the linking, and the speed. Train your mouth to speak before your analytical brain can intervene and paralyze you. Use the phrases you practice as tools of authority and conviction. Thank you for joining me on this profound journey to finding your voice. If Lena's story has inspired you to dedicate 15 minutes a day to shadowing practice, and you are ready to unleash your full speaking potential, please subscribe to the channel right now. Don't miss the next inspiring lesson. Keep practicing, keep projecting, and let the world hear your true, powerful voice.